10 Lessons from Defeating the Dictators. 1. Dictators are not invincible. Throughout history, dictators have been overthrown by people from all walks of life, using a variety of methods. 2. Unity is essential. When people come together to stand against a dictator, they are more likely to succeed. 3. Nonviolent resistance can be effective. Many dictators have been overthrown by nonviolent movements, such as the Indian independence movement led by Mahatma Gandhi. 4. It is important to have a clear plan. Those who are fighting to overthrow a dictator should have a clear vision for what they want to achieve and how they plan to achieve it. 5. International support is helpful. When the international community stands up to a dictator, it can make a big difference. 6. It is important to be patient. Defeating a dictator can take time. There will be setbacks, but it is important to persevere. 7. The people are the ultimate source of power. When the people lose faith in a dictator, he or she is doomed. It is important to build a democratic society. Once a dictator is overthrown, it is important to build a democratic society that respects human rights and the rule of law. 9. Dictators often leave behind a legacy of destruction. It can take many years to rebuild a country after a dictatorship. 10. The fight for democracy is never over. Once a democracy is established, it is important to be vigilant and defend it from those who would seek to undermine it. Here are some examples of how these lessons have been applied in the real world. In the 1980s, the people of the Philippines overthrew the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos through a non-violent uprising known as the People Power Revolution. In 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, marking the end of communist rule in East Germany. This was due in part to the efforts of the East German people, who protested against the regime for many years. In 2011, the Arab Spring uprisings led to the overthrow of dictators in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya. These uprisings were inspired by the nonviolent resistance movement that had overthrown the dictatorship of Zayn el-Abidine Ben Ali in Tunisia. Defeating a dictator is never easy, but it is possible. When people come together to stand for democracy and human rights, they can achieve great things. It is important to note that these are just 10 of the many lessons that can be learned from defeating dictators. There are many other factors that contribute to the success of these movements, and it is important to study each case carefully to learn what can be applied to other situations.